My name is Michela Sottura. I am the Communications and Development Coordinator for Oregon MESA. And we are so lucky today to be joined by one of the amazing alumni of the Oregon MESA program. Here we have Bosko Kante. Bosko is going to share a little bit more today about how he went from growing up in Portland, Oregon, to becoming a Grammy-winning inventor, entrepreneur, and engineer. So, Bosko, why don't you kick us off and tell us a little bit about growing up in Portland and how it was that you got interested in STEM and engineering at an early age?
Thank you for that introduction. Yes. So I grew up in a engineering, math, science, music family. So my grandmother was a math teacher, a math professor. She actually was part of the team that created the first microwave.
Wow.
Um, uh, my mom was a math teacher and a civil engineer, um, and everybody played an instrument. My grandmother played trumpet. My great grandfather had a dance band where he played trumpet. My mom plays French horn. My aunts, one aunt plays violin, one plays guitar. One sings. Like everybody plays an instrument. Christmas celebrations were all about getting together and playing music. I played in church, so there's always this music going on and always math. Like we played math games, and so math was always seen as this fun thing, this thing that everybody should know, that was super important. And music was all the combination wasn't odd at all in my family. So I definitely had a huge advantage in that regard. Growing up in that family, I always wanted to be some kind of inventor or engineer. But I wanna temper that with, I didn't have any, like, even though my grandmother had done some of this stuff, she did it when she was younger. I didn't have firsthand experience. My mom was working as a civil engineer, but she wasn't like inventing things. So I didn't have that like a direct role model or someone that was near me that was showing me the process of inventing.
Mhm.
And I just knew that I love science, I love math. I was interested in inventing, but really, I didn't really own it. Like I knew that I could do it at that young age, but at least I was building the foundation. I did well in school, got straight A's through middle school, straight A's through high school. I was the valedictorian at Grant High School, and that really came out of a competitiveness for me. I think a part of it was uh, being being black, being mixed. Uh, there was um, like, I didn't want to be seen as less than. I was in a lot of classes where there weren't, sometimes there weren't other black students in the class, or I didn't want to be seen as less than any of the other students, and I always um, wanted to be the best. And my second grade teacher, she said that I tried too hard in class and I needed to just relax because I wasn't going to be one of the better students. So I needed to accept that, and I just was trying too hard. And thankfully, I didn't listen.
Yeah.
I kept trying because that's the thing. I wasn't an outstanding student in first grade or second grade, but I started to get better in third, and I got better and better. And I think the effort paid off, and the environment, and family support and all of those things, and I became a really good student. I didn't see, the ceiling for what, or I saw a ceiling for what I could accomplish. I imagine myself, you know, uh, going to a local college or university like Portland State University, maybe University of Oregon, which are great schools, and becoming an engineer. Uh, I was thinking about mechanical or aerospace. I didn't know how much college was going to cost, how I was going to pay for it. But I wasn't, that was kind of the extent of what I believed that I could achieve, and what I was expecting. And Renee at MESA, when I joined MESA, she saw a lot more than I did. And she really opened my eyes. I didn't even think of applying to schools beyond the local universities. And again, I didn't think about scholarships or anything like that. And she was like, "No, you need to apply to all of these schools. You have the grades. You have, I was also in doing sports." She saw the whole picture, and she said, "You can get some scholarships. You can get into some of these other schools. Let's look. Let's make some applications. Let's I did she encouraged me to go to an event with USC had an early application event in Portland that I went to understand more about USC, and then I applied to Stanford, and pretty soon I was getting all of these letters from so many different colleges about applying. Um, so just having somebody open my eyes to what was possible and start to push me to look beyond my immediate horizon was key. Was key.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for sharing that. And it's so inspiring because you made that vision come to life, and now you are an entrepreneur, an engineer, and I would love to hear a little bit more about what life was like after college and how did you get to the Grammys. And like I said, I'm sure
Mm,
my students that are listening in might think that it's an impossible transition, but you are you made that vision happen.
yeah, I thank you. I think that the culture, Portland has this culture of a do-it-yourself culture. A you know, when I wanted to figure something out, I would go to the library and find a book on it and read the book and figure out how to do it. And I had the feeling that I could figure it out if I just had enough time and the right book.
Yeah.
And I think that attitude that is part of the Portland do-it-yourself culture has really served me well going forward. I didn't really know. I was naive. I've always been naive as to how difficult certain things are. Like, this is, somebody might say, "Oh, this thing is impossible," and I didn't know. I didn't know it was impossible. And that started off with music. So the way that I got into music, I got into music because my family was into music, and I started playing trumpet when I was 7, and just playing in the bands, school bands. But I also love hip hop. I love breakdancing, and I started breakdancing. I won a set of turntables in a breakdancing contest when I was part of this breakdancing crew called the Floor Rockers. And I took that set of turntables and I started DJing, and um, I got a mixer, and then I used the money from DJing house parties. And this is middle school, mind you. So I'm DJing house parties in
Amazing.
middle school, and so yeah, I was DJing these kids' house parties and basements and school dances, and I used that money to buy drum machines and 4-track tape machines and
So cool.
microphones. And but I couldn't buy the, like, there was all this stuff that I wanted to do musically that maybe I didn't have the skill to play or the money to get into a big studio. So the workaround was to use technology that was cheap. So I would buy like an Atari computer that was, few hundred, $300 or $400 versus, some $10,000 thing in a big studio. But because of that, I got into computer music early and music production early. I chose USC because it was in LA and that's where the music business was. And I didn't really think that I was gonna be a professional musician or anything, but I just, I wanted to be close to the music business. I thought it was cool as a possibility. And they had USC had a recording engineering program,
Oh,
and they had an aerospace. They had aerospace, recording engineering, and mechanical. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do mechanical or aerospace, but I figured I did want to take some recording classes. So hey, USC is the one, and it's in LA. Going to USC, uh, I met students. And one of my friends, Tremaine Ankrum, he introduced me. He said, "I got this friend named Lay. She plays keyboard. You should meet her." She was another USC student. I started hanging out with her, playing music. Her boyfriend was this guy named, he called himself Moto, and he was good friends with AMG, who was DJ Quick's best friend. So I started meeting people in the LA music scene and the music business. And then Moto also introduced me to this guy named Traski. Traski was the DJ for In Living Color.
wow.
Um, and he and I just we started making music together. He would come over to my dorm room and we just make music for fun um, and then he got the opportunity to make a new theme song, but he only sampled music.
Mm,
All of his stuff had all of these samples, and he wanted something. They needed something original for the theme song because they didn't want to pay all of the clearances for samples. He said, "Come on, let's work on something together." We worked on a record together. I came up with this. I did this big laugh at the beginning because I figured, hey, it's a comedy show, why not? And they loved it. They loved it. So this is way back 93, 94. I'm a junior at USC, and I had the theme song to the hit Fox television show. But I started producing music at that point, and I went on to do music for um, E40, Aaliyah,
some,
Junior Mafia, um, Too Short, then Limp Bizkit, Tupac and the Outlaws,
mm,
um, uh, Kanye West, College Dropout. Started playing the talkbox, um, and talkbox became like my signature sound. And I'll say that my education from USC, and my math and science background was always something that gave me an advantage as a music producer. I think it meant that my music engineering skills were better than most of my peers. My mixing was better. I knew how to read contracts. I knew how to put together deals. I think my business management savvy was better. Playing the talk box became the what I was known for. And people started calling me uh, just for the talk box. I was still producing, but people, I would just get calls like, jump on this record, and a lot of times those were the biggest record. Like that was the Kanye and
yeah,
Kanye West record. That was the Flow Rider record. That was the Janelle Monáe record. That was um, the Tupac and Outlaws record. And when I did Kanye's workout plan, and that um, I got to perform live on the American Music Awards, but I couldn't play live because the talk box has all of these pieces. Uh, I thought at that moment, man, maybe I can. reinvent this. Maybe there's a way to make this mobile. In music production, I was constantly doing a bunch of music for artists, and then the label that wouldn't come out because the label got bought by another label, or artist got dropped, or a lot of the music that I was doing, like I had a few songs that would come out, but I would, for every song that came out, I did 5 that didn't come out, and it was really frustrating. And then I didn't have a lot of control over the message of the music, and it didn't always fit my my own ideology. So I was looking for something different, and I found in Oakland, I found Zoo Labs, which is a music tech incubator, and now a fund that funds entrepreneurs. I talked with the founder about my career and some of the ups and downs, and they encouraged me to apply. And it was the perfect time for me to take this idea that had been bubbling for years of this portable talk box, this thing that had, was really like, that I had become synonymous with as one of the most popular talk boxers in the world. But could I make this better? We said, can we make a talk box that works with a mobile phone? And my initial reaction was, heck no. and that was because of my being so entrenched in the status quo, and
Right.
having been successful with the existing equipment. And but part of the curriculum at Zoo Labs was design thinking, and um, although I had the mechanical engineering background, I didn't have a lot of hands-on, like, inventing experience, and hands-on. Definitely didn't have any electrical engineering hands-on experience, just the basic, drawing the circuits and stuff in class. But I just jumped in, and I took that same, you know, Portland mentality of, I'll just figure it out. And, now it's YouTube. I look at a YouTube video on how does an amplifier work? How does a speaker work? You know, um, how do you design a PCB? And just step by step, it wasn't, this like, aha, I invented this whole thing. It was make a prototype. It it was just enough. The first prototype was, I think I have it here. So this isn't the first prototype, but this is the first one that really worked. but but
Right.
it's made out of PVC. Uh, this is this was this piece of plastic. This is all from Ace Hardware. So I went to Ace Hardware, and I'm looking through. I need something that is in this shape, and I would find it. It wasn't exactly right, but it's close enough, and I could screw it together with something else, and then I could use a file and glue it with some super glue. And this was like an auto part that for fastening, like your door. If your door panel falls off, there's this little fastener, and it just happened to be just the right size. So
So,
I used that for this piece. And it's but it worked well enough that I said, oh, this is possible. Maybe we could do it this way, and we get rid of the tube, and it allows you to talk more clearly. And we used a small amplifier instead of a big amplifier that I found. And it was enough to say, okay, there's something here. So over the course of, I would say, 2 years, really, from 2014, whereas when we went through the Zoo Labs incubator, to 2016, uh, I was making these incremental changes. It started to sound decent. I put it on a record with Big Boy and Skrillex. That was the first time,
yeah.
and that was actually with a prototype that was very similar to this one. Um, and then I said, okay, I need to be able to play with two hands so I can really play keyboards. So how am I going to hold these pieces on my neck? And I started, instead of fabricating, I started working with a guy that did 3D printing. So we 3D printed
So cute.
this that goes on your neck, and it can adjust. And we figured out what are the angles. So we had to figure out what angle, and these adjust with screws. And so this was another early prototype. And I started to move from fabrication to computer controlled, like 3D printing, laser cutting. I joined uh, this co-op called Maker called Ace Monster Toys, which was a co-op where you could use laser cutters, 3D printers, electronics, workshop, wood shop equipment for a monthly fee. And the community was amazing. Like I would come in there and I'd be trying to figure out how to put something together, and somebody say, "Oh, what you working on? Oh, have you tried this tool
Yeah.
over here?" And I'm like, no, I didn't even know that tool existed. And then, pretty soon it's better. And so that enabled me to build the prototype. And then in combination with the business mentorship from Zoo Labs, I started to understand, what does fundraising look like? How do we, how do we understand our customers? What is the business model for this project? And um, I got introduced to P Thug, who is an artist who's part of this group called Chromeo, and he plays talkbox. And as soon as he saw it, he was like,
Mind
"What
blown.
do you need?" Like, this is
Yeah.
incredible. If you look at our Kickstarter, if you go on Kickstarter and search ElectroSpit, you'll see his initial reaction.
Wow. That's so
He
amazing.
was blown away. Yes, he was blown away. And because he had tried to make something, he had tried to make a portable talk box, and he hadn't been able to get it done, whether it was not having enough money or he wasn't able to convince music manufacturers to do it. And I had used that, that old, like, do it yourself. Like I never considered trying to convince Yamaha or Roland or some big company to do it, because I don't know, I just didn't think about it. I said, I'll just try it myself. That do it yourself mentality. And once you've proven that it's possible, then people are they want to support you. So that was cool. So he became our first investor. Our Kickstarter did we raised our initial ask in like 24 hours or 48 hours, I think. Under 48 hours, we had raised like $40,000, and it went on to go like to 113,000, and we had 400 pre-orders for the ElectroSpit ESX1 talk box, which is
There
this
it
right
is.
here.
There it is.
Yeah, so from here
From there.
to here to here, and there was like 50 steps in between each
Yeah.
one. And
One.
I wish I could have had my eyes opened earlier, because it seems impossible building, something like this, or a phone or something. It
Yeah.
is impossible when you just think about the end result. but
Mhm.
but building something like this doesn't seem so impossible. All the parts are in Ace Hardware, and then 3D printing something doesn't seem so impossible. But all of those small steps together turn into something that is a finished product. And somebody else could have invented this,
Mhm.
but nobody nobody did, partially because I'm coming from a different cultural perspective.
Mhm.
You know, I have the passion and the love for the music, the love for the instrument itself, um, and so I knew what to build because of my connection, and I think that that's an advantage that
Mhm.
um, that people of color have, that a lot of like underrepresented groups, you know, they have a different perspective, you
Mhm.
know, and a perspective that hasn't been funded, a perspective that hasn't already, you know, been invented. So there's all of these products and services and ideas that are waiting to be created, and um, learning the fundamentals like design thinking and rapid prototyping, and the other side of it, understanding your customers and business model design and customer value proposition, all of those things. Teaching those skills to young to not just young people, to just people who are interested. It has the potential, not just the potential, but it turns into products um, and revolutionary ideas and things that just change the world and change society. So there's just all this genius out there that we need to support, and
Ah, so wonderful. I'm so grateful for everything you've shared. Would love to hear the ElectroSpit in action now.
yeah. So the way the traditional talkbox works is a speaker. You have a keyboard that creates a synthesizer sound that goes, or a guitar that goes into an amplifier that goes into a speaker, and the speaker has a tube. Let me see. Um, speaker's inside of a box, and then the box has a tube, and then you stick the tube in your mouth, and then it makes a sound. And I love the sound, but that's a lot of pieces. What we did was we replaced the synthesizer with an iPhone app that we created, um, and and that was another skill that I had to develop. I didn't know how to program an app, but we figured it out. And then the sound that comes out of the iPhone into the electrospit, and it's projected through your neck, and it comes out of your mouth. So when I oh wow 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 oh wow 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 wow
Wow,
so
indeed.
and I'm not singing or talking. I'm just opening my mouth and pressing the key, and it's vibrating my neck, and the sound just comes. I'm actually holding my breath, so I just hold my breath, open my mouth, and
So cool.
um, ah, California love, California. Let me see. Knows how to party. California knows how to party. Oh, electro spin, baby. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, and Mesa, Oregon Mesa, yeah, with Bosco.
That is so
So,
amazing. This is so great. I'm so excited
thank
for this. So
you,
beautiful.
thank you.
Oh my
So, and it's been incredible. Like, um, the process of building this instrument, you know, going through the whole process of the design, then the manufacturing. We won the Guthman Award, which is the most prestigious award for electronic musical instruments. So to be recognized by this community was incredible. It's now, you know, you come up with something, this idea, you don't know where it's going to go. Um, Incredible musicians like David Guetta is using it. It's on the latest single by Dua Lipa called "Levitating," which is one of the biggest songs in the world. One
Love
and a
that song.
version with and Missy Elliott. Um, Just Blaze is a big fan of the instrument. Um, so it's really taken off in terms of so many talkbox players and musicians and producers have really appreciated being able to play it in a way that's portable, a way that's it's easier to pronounce the words.
That's so amazing. Honestly, so amazing. This is so great. I'm so glad you shared so much with us. And I'm so excited for our students to get to see this, and I'm sure they're going to be in awe. Do you have any like final words of advice for our students? Any tips, anything you would want to share with young
Yeah.
students in Portland?
Um. Wow. Well, I could say that just being willing to dream big and um, to connect with other people and ask questions. You know, like I found that so many things. It's right out there for the learning. If you dig into it, and people that do something that you're interested in are often willing to share how they did it. Um, and so just staying curious and being willing to dig deeper into how things work. But the information is there. It's just Google and YouTube. You can find out how to do almost anything. And but having that technical background has really been key for me in developing this product. Again, it didn't happen overnight, but incremental changes over a long period of time, they they look like the difference between
Yeah.
this and this. And there's no shortage. Sometimes it's easy to sit back and think, oh, everything cool has already been created, but that's just so untrue. Every invention, every new website, new app, it creates a demand for the next thing that uses. There's no, the each new invention is just the foundation for a new invention that goes on top of it. So um, definitely encourage students to dream big and follow your dreams, follow your passion, and ask for help, ask for information while as you're doing it yourself.
Hmm.
Um, I'm excited uh, for the kids to go through this the design thinking process, the prototyping iteration. Um, I I don't want our students, or not just students, but just people in general, if you have this idea, to feel like, oh, I don't have the resources. What you need to do is crystallize the plan, come up with some kind of a prototype and demonstration, and then you need to find the people that have that same dream, and you guys can work together and take it to the next level. So,
Thank you so much. This is so amazing, and thank you for all of your words. Thank you for sharing everything. I'm so excited for our students to see your prototypes and the final products, because I'm in awe. I'm in shock. It's so beautiful, so inspirational, and so I'm really excited for our students to see that. And thank you
yeah,
so much. Um,
problem, my pleasure.